Solomon, renowned as the most illustrious king in biblical history, embodies the ideals of unparalleled wisdom, immense power, and boundless prosperity. Yet beneath the dazzling glory of his throne and extraordinary achievements lies a haunting narrative, a tale of unbridled desires and devastating downfall. Within the walls of a magnificent palace housing 700 wives and 300 concubines, every marriage forged a diplomatic pact, but also concealed insidious threats. From the mysterious allure of Egyptian princesses to the women of Moab, Ammon, and Sidon, their presence painted a vivid yet turbulent tapestry of diverse cultures. Endowed with matchless wisdom by God, Solomon transformed Israel into a splendid empire, teeming with opulence and flourishing trade networks. However, amid this wealth, he succumbed to the temptations of earthly pleasures. His wives, while exuding beauty and charm, introduced foreign deities that eroded the faith of a king once revered across the land. Could Solomon's choices have set the stage for the downfall of not only himself, but also the entire kingdom of Israel? Behind the facade of the palace's grandeur lay relentless political strife, fragile alliances, and spiritual decay. Battles Solomon could not surmount. His life serves as both an inspiring lesson on the blessings of power and wisdom, and a sobering warning about the perils of succumbing to temptation. In this video, we unravel the journey of Solomon from the pinnacle of triumph to the abyss of despair. What forces precipitated his downfall? And how did Israel grapple with the aftermath of his death? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications as we uncover riveting biblical tales and gain profound insights into faith and history. Travel back with us to 990 BCE, to ancient Jerusalem, where a remarkable prince was born, Solomon, whose name signifies bringer of peace and beloved of God. Yet behind his birth lies a somber and enigmatic tale. Solomon was born of the union between Bathsheba and King David, the shepherd warrior renowned for vanquishing Goliath. This story, however, is rooted in a dark and sorrowful tragedy. Bathsheba, married to the loyal and valiant soldier Uriah, was drawn into an illicit affair with David. In a desperate bid to mask his transgression, David orchestrated Uriah's death in battle, commanding the troops to abandon him to the enemy. God, however, was not blind to this betrayal. David's sin incurred divine judgment, the death of the firstborn child between him and Bathsheba. Yet God, while delivering firm justice, also demonstrated boundless mercy. Through David's sincere repentance, God granted forgiveness and blessings. Out of this grief, Solomon was born, becoming a symbol of harmony between heaven and earth and bringing renewed hope to Israel. Under the guidance of the prophet Nathan, a figure of profound wisdom and mystery, the young Solomon was nurtured. While David focused on governing his kingdom, Nathan became Solomon's spiritual guide, imparting divine wisdom and prophetic teachings. Nathan, with his perceptive insight, discerned in Solomon not just a bright young prince, but a man destined for greatness. Calm and thoughtful, Nathan recognized the divine spark of wisdom illuminating Solomon's soul, affirming his God-ordained purpose. Yet Nathan also understood that Solomon's road to kingship would be fraught with challenges. As David's son, but not his firstborn, Solomon had to contend with rivals for the throne. In Nathan's heart, a daring strategy began to form. Knowing the secrets of David's affair with Bathsheba, he realized that if used wisely, these truths could secure Solomon's rightful ascent to the throne. The prophet subtly sowed the seed in David's heart, suggesting that Solomon was the one chosen by God to inherit the kingdom. As Nathan shared his prophecies and powerful visions, David gradually grew convinced, eventually recognizing that his youngest son might be the key to Israel's future prosperity. As David's death loomed, he reluctantly acknowledged Solomon as his successor. Despite being appointed as the heir, young Solomon, only 15 years old, understood that the throne he inherited was fraught with immense danger and uncertainty. David's warning about the potential rebellion from his brothers still echoed in Solomon's thoughts, urging him to remain alert and address any hidden threats. With an unyielding resolve, Solomon initiated a series of purges to solidify his authority and safeguard the kingdom from those who sought to betray him. Joab, the loyal military commander of King David, who had backed Adonijah in the power struggle, became one of the first casualties of Solomon's ruthless purging. This decisive action made it clear that no one, not even those closest to David, could escape the wrath of Solomon's justice. After disposing of Joab, Solomon moved to eliminate Adonijah, David's son, putting an end to any possibility of a rebellion against his reign. Solomon, however, understood that his work was far from finished. He knew that only through internal stability and military strength could he firmly secure his throne. Despite his young age, Solomon demonstrated exceptional foresight as he not only secured his rule, but also expanded Israel's international influence. His marriage to the daughter of Pharaoh of Egypt forged a powerful alliance between the two nations. However, Solomon soon found himself trapped by the very alliances he sought to build through political marriages. Each marriage, meant to solidify his power, brought with it unforeseen challenges, both political and spiritual, that would haunt him in the years to come. One night, as Solomon slept, God appeared to him in a dream and offered him anything he desired. "Ask for anything you want, and I will give it to you." With a humble heart, Solomon, fully aware of his monumental responsibility, chose not to ask for material riches or power, but for wisdom. He instead requested something far more crucial for a leader. "Grant your servant a wise and understanding heart to govern your people and discern between good and evil. Who can govern this vast people of yours?" 1 Kings 3:9. God, pleased with Solomon's humility and foresight, responded favorably. God replied, "Because you asked for wisdom and discernment, and not for long life, wealth, or the death of your enemies, I will grant your request. I will give you a heart of wisdom, unmatched by anyone before or after you." After Solomon awoke from the divine dream, he found himself bestowed with the rarest of gifts, an unparalleled wisdom granted directly by God. This divine intervention was a defining moment in Solomon's life, setting him on the path to becoming a ruler who wielded both power and compassion. Solomon soon became the epitome of a king who ruled with unmatched wisdom, revered across the ages as a model leader. His reputation for wisdom spread far beyond the borders of Israel, drawing rulers and citizens from distant lands eager to seek his counsel. The Bible records, "And all the kings of the earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear the wisdom that God had put in his heart." 1 Kings 10:24. One of Solomon's most remarkable displays of wisdom occurred during the famous case of two women fighting over the motherhood of a child. On that fateful day, two grieving women stood before Solomon, each adamantly claiming the child as her own. The child lay in the hands of one, innocent and unaware of the dispute. The air was thick with tension as the two women staunchly defended their claims. Solomon, guided by divine insight, listened to their words carefully, unwilling to rush to judgment. Solomon's sharp mind and commanding presence then led him to issue a chilling decree. "Bring me a sword, divide the child in two, and give half to each woman." The room fell silent in shock, as the king's demand seemed heartless. At that moment, the true mother's love overcame her, and she cried out, "My lord, give the child to her and spare its life." The false mother, without any real attachment, consented to Solomon's proposed division. Solomon's divine insight saw through the deception. Not only did he reveal the truth of motherhood, but his wisdom also reflected a depth of understanding that few could fathom. With a compassionate yet firm ruling, Solomon declared, "Give the living child to this woman, for she is the true mother." This judgment demonstrated not only wisdom, but also an unwavering commitment to fairness and the protection of life. This case has since become a timeless symbol of Solomon's justice, a ruler whose wisdom and fairness transcended mere power. His example remains a guiding light for leaders of all ages. Solomon's decision to protect the innocent child not only safeguarded life, but also uncovered the truth hidden behind false accusations. The true mother's selfless love triumphed over greed, as she was willing to sacrifice her right to the child to ensure its survival. The impostor's coldness was laid bare in the light of Solomon's justice. The story spread throughout Israel, sparking reverence for the wise king. As written, "And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had rendered, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do justice." 1 Kings 3:28. This moment was a clear manifestation of the divine wisdom Solomon had received from God, as well as a testament to his ability to lead with compassion and understanding. This decision solidified Solomon's legacy, laying the groundwork for a reign marked by wisdom and prosperity. Under his rule, Israel became a beacon of justice and intellectual might. Despite their prosperity, the Israelites remained anchored in their ancient traditions, offering sacrifices in high places under the open sky, a sign of their enduring faith and longing for a permanent temple to honor their God. If you're captivated by this story and find it inspiring, please hit like, share, and subscribe to stay connected for more explorations. Don't forget to turn on the bell notifications so you can keep up with our exciting discoveries. A world of wonders awaits. Motivated by a deep belief and an ambitious vision, Solomon launched one of the most significant endeavors in Israel's history, constructing the first temple devoted to the Lord. Yet, in order to turn this grand vision into reality, he realized the domestic resources were insufficient. With his extraordinary wisdom, Solomon decided to forge a strategic alliance with Hiram, the king of Tyre, a wealthy commercial hub known for its talented craftsmen and abundant resources. In a letter to Hiram, Solomon articulated his intentions clearly. "You know that my father David was unable to build a temple for the name of the Lord, my God, because of the wars he faced on all sides, until the Lord gave him victory over all his enemies. But now, the Lord, my God, has granted me peace all around, and there is no longer any adversary or calamity. Therefore, I will build a temple for the name of the Lord, my God, just as the Lord said to my father David, your son, who will succeed you on your throne, will build the temple for my name." 1 Kings 5:3-5 Bible. Hiram, struck by Solomon's wisdom and vision, immediately accepted the proposal. The king of Tyre promised to supply cedar and cypress wood from Lebanon's mountains, along with skilled artisans. In return, Solomon offered food and goods, creating a mutually beneficial exchange. This alliance not only provided the necessary resources for the temple's construction, but also strengthened the bond between the two kingdoms, initiating a prosperous era of cooperation. The temple took 7 years to build, constructed with unparalleled precision and artistry. The Bible recounts, the temple that King Solomon built for the Lord was 60 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. He lined the walls with cedar from floor to ceiling and covered them with pure gold, making the space both magnificent and holy. 1 Kings 6:15-22 Bible. The ceiling was made from cedar beams, and the side chambers were built 5 cubits high, achieving a balance between structure and beauty. The temple was not just an architectural masterpiece, but a divine symbol of faith and devotion to the Lord. Through the temple, Solomon solidified Jerusalem's status as the spiritual heart of the world, a place where man meets God, leaving behind a legacy that reflects his wisdom and vision. Solomon's aspirations went beyond the construction of the sacred temple. After completing the 7-year project, the king spent the next 13 years building his magnificent palace, a living symbol of his power, wealth, and intellect. Solomon's palace was an architectural marvel, with grand halls, towering columns, and verdant gardens, showcasing the unparalleled wealth of his reign. Every detail in the palace was meticulously crafted. High-quality stones, skillfully cut and smoothed on both sides, were used in every structure, from the large courtyards to the porticos. The expansive spaces were not just designed to impress guests, but to solidify Israel's dominant position under Solomon's rule. The simultaneous construction of the temple and palace completely transformed Jerusalem's skyline, securing its place as a political and economic center. Solomon's wisdom and wealth spread far and wide across the ancient world. Kings and queens from distant lands sought to meet him, making long treks to witness the greatness of this extraordinary king. One of the most remarkable tales is the legendary visit of the Queen of Sheba. Drawn by stories of Solomon's wisdom and wealth, the queen decided to embark on a daring journey to see it for herself. She arrived in Jerusalem with a lavish entourage, bearing gifts and a series of challenging questions, eager to test the king's intellect. Solomon, endowed with divine wisdom and profound insight, responded to all of the Queen of Sheba's inquiries in a way that exceeded her expectations. Convinced by the evidence she witnessed, the queen proclaimed, "The reports I heard about your deeds and wisdom were indeed true, but I never believed them until I arrived and saw with my own eyes that not only was it more than I had been told, but it surpassed my expectations. Your wisdom and goodness far exceed your renowned reputation." 1 Kings 10:6-7 Bible. The queen's visit did not only strengthen Solomon's fame, but it also revealed the vast influence he held. Nevertheless, it was not just Solomon's wisdom that marked him as a remarkable figure in history. His leadership, strategic foresight, and passion for building propelled both him and Israel to unparalleled heights of glory and prosperity. Solomon's wealth and splendor grew legendary, symbolizing the unprecedented prosperity of Israel under his reign. Gold, silver, and jewels were found in every corner, setting the standard for grandeur. Solomon's throne, crafted from ivory and adorned with pure gold, became a potent symbol of his authority. The prosperity spread across Israel, bringing flourishing trade and seemingly endless treasures. It was recounted, all of King Solomon's drinking vessels were made of gold. Nothing was made of silver, as silver was not esteemed during Solomon's time. 1 Kings 10:21 Bible. Solomon's greatness extended beyond his wealth to include his ageless wisdom and creativity. He was a distinguished leader and also a divinely inspired writer. His works, such as Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Songs, have endured as a legacy of guidance, offering light and insight to future generations. Solomon imparted profound wisdom in Proverbs. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1:7 Bible. These words have served as a guiding light for those seeking divine wisdom. In Ecclesiastes, Solomon reflected on life's brevity and called people to prioritize the essentials. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. Ecclesiastes 12:13 Bible. These reflections offer deep insight into life's fleeting nature and the necessity of devotion to God. In Song of Songs, Solomon explored love and intimacy with these timeless words. Place me like a seal over your heart, like a seal on your arm, for love is as strong as death, jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like a blazing fire, like a mighty flame. Song of Songs 8:6 Bible. This poetic declaration honors the sacredness of love, elevating it to something divine. Solomon was not only a king of immense wealth or a sage of unparalleled wisdom, but also a man whose spiritual and intellectual legacy continues to resonate through the ages. His achievements and teachings bear testimony to the grace of God, as well as humanity's capacity to discover truth and light even amidst a dark and turbulent world. However, at the peak of his glory and wisdom, Solomon faltered by making a tragic mistake that darkened his legacy. Despite God's warnings, he succumbed to the allure of beauty and power, and his affection for foreign women led him astray. The scriptures note, he had 700 wives, all daughters of kings, and 300 concubines, and his wives led him astray. 1 Kings 11:3. These alliances did more than distract Solomon from his devotion to God. They enticed him into the worship of foreign gods, breaking the sacred covenant that he had with the Almighty. Solomon's palace, constructed from precious gems and cedar, stood not only as a beacon of authority, but also as home to a sprawling harem, where thousands of women from all corners of the globe resided. Ethiopian princesses, with their smooth ebony skin, daughters of Pharaoh with enigmatic eyes like the flowing Nile, and ladies from distant lands all brought their rich traditions, stories, and customs. These women were not simply part of the royal harem. Each one represented a gateway to new worlds, contributing to the grand tapestry Solomon created to expand his knowledge and influence. The laughter, whispers, and melodies of songs filled the palace halls, turning the palace into a unique cultural crossroads. Through these marriages, Solomon formed political alliances that secured peace with neighboring kingdoms and distant nations. They introduced Solomon to new traditions, deities, and tales, enhancing his knowledge. However, the political connections came with a hidden peril. The foreign idols and beliefs slowly but surely eroded Solomon's devotion to the God of Israel. The narrative of Solomon and his immense harem vividly displays the internal contradictions that defined him. On the one hand, he possessed extraordinary wisdom and astute political strategies. On the other, he fell prey to temptation, making choices that tarnished his once brilliant legacy. The blending of light and shadow in Solomon's tale is both a warning and a reminder that even the greatest can falter when their faith and loyalty begin to waver. The complex relationships Solomon forged, while securing political dominance and expanding his cultural reach, ultimately led to significant rifts within his kingdom. His palace, once a symbol of grandeur and admiration, became a stage for intrigue and discord. Every gesture of favor from Solomon ignited secret battles, as his wives and concubines competed for his favor. In the gilded halls, whispered schemes and hidden plans gradually undermined the stability of his court. The diverse cultures brought into Solomon's court not only enriched his reign, but also introduced foreign worship into the heart of Jerusalem. Statues of Ashtoreth, Baal, and Chemosh began appearing on high places, challenging the monotheistic faith that had once defined Israel. Solomon, who once constructed a magnificent temple to honor Israel's God, tragically began constructing altars to the gods of his foreign wives, Ashtoreth, Milcom, and Molech, gods despised by neighboring nations. The scriptures tell us that his devotion to these idols clouded his judgment and led him astray from the divine wisdom God had imparted. God's fury ignited at Solomon's apostasy. With solemn resolve, the Lord spoke, "Because this is your heart's attitude, and you have not adhered to my covenant and commands which I gave you, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your servants." 1 Kings 11:11. These thunderous words foretold a tragic destiny. The once united and prosperous kingdom under Solomon would soon be fractured after his death. The seeds of division took root. Internal strife and external enemies quickly rose. Among them, Jeroboam, one of Solomon's own servants, was foretold by the prophet Ahijah to reign over 10 of Israel's tribes. Ahijah's prophecy echoed, "Take 10 pieces, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, declares. I will tear the kingdom from Solomon and give you 10 tribes." 1 Kings 11:31. Jeroboam, destined for power, began scheming against the throne, while external forces capitalized on the kingdom's weakening state. Solomon's reign, once a beacon of wisdom and success, now teetered on the brink of collapse due to his own transgressions. The warning from Proverbs, attributed to Solomon himself, resounded with foreboding. "There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death." Proverbs 14:12. Solomon's legacy was not only a fractured kingdom, but also a cautionary tale for future generations, that even the most powerful and wise may fall from grace if they fail to honor God's laws. In his final years, Solomon, amid personal turmoil, glimpsed the wisdom he had once been given. In a moment of profound regret, he recognized the futility of earthly pleasures and idol worship. In repentance, Solomon poured his soul into the book of Ecclesiastes, a work of both bitter confession and a profound warning to future generations. Its words echo not only disillusionment, but a clarion call. "Vanity of vanities," says the teacher, "all is vanity." Ecclesiastes 1:2. Each line of his writing revealed his agonizing journey, from the pursuit of meaning in wealth, power, and pleasure, to the devastating realization that all was empty. He wrote to remind both himself and future generations that true fulfillment is found only in seeking God. His declaration, "God alone is the true meaning of life," reverberates through the ages, serving as a beacon in a world so often lost in false pursuits. Yet, Solomon's life ended in contradiction. After 40 years of rule, he passed away, leaving a kingdom rich in achievements but fractured in unity. Solomon's son Rehoboam succeeded him, but faced a kingdom showing signs of disintegration, signaling impending unrest. Solomon's death marked the end of Israel's golden era and the beginning of unavoidable division. Solomon's legacy extended beyond his grand constructions and wealth, reaching into the lessons he imparted through his life. Ecclesiastes is a deep meditation on life's true purpose. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Through his final repentance, Solomon became a symbol not only of wisdom, but also of the timeless truth that turning away from God brings emptiness and instability, while returning to him brings peace and true fulfillment. Beyond the biblical record, Solomon's life is enveloped in fascinating legends, especially within apocryphal writings, such as the Testament of Solomon. A striking feature of these tales is the magical ring of Solomon, believed to have been gifted to him by the archangel Michael. The ring, a symbol of unparalleled power, was said to possess the ability to summon, command, and expel demonic forces. Legend holds that Solomon used this ring to compel demons into assisting him with monumental tasks, including the construction of the temple in Jerusalem. The stories surrounding this magical ring not only enhance the grandeur of Solomon's character, but also reflect humanity's eternal fascination with the supernatural. They depict him as a figure endowed not just with wisdom, but with powers far surpassing those of ordinary men. Yet, when examined within its cultural and religious context, these legends serve as a powerful metaphor for the constant battle between wisdom, power, and temptation, a recurring theme in Solomon's life. Aside from his supernatural gifts, Solomon was deeply influenced by his mother, Bathsheba, who played a key role in the formation of his dynasty and the development of his character. Bathsheba was not only a nurturing mother, but also a wise counselor, imparting sharp discernment to Solomon during his early years. However, her story was also marked by complexities. Bathsheba had been involved in a scandalous affair with King David, Solomon's father, a story that brought to light the dark sides of power and desire. These temptations would go on to shape the challenges Solomon would face throughout his reign. In reflecting on the life of King Solomon, we encounter a story filled with immense wisdom, legendary power, and the internal struggles between temptation and faith. His story is not just a historical record, but a timeless lesson that despite the greatness of our wisdom, power, or talent, it is only through keeping God at the center of our lives that we find true peace and purpose. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content, and share your thoughts on Solomon's life and lessons in the comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Let's learn from the past, keep our faith strong in God, and seek the true meaning of life. We thank God for His guidance and mercy. See you in the next video. May God bless us all.